I'm Ronnie, and you're listening to Clean With Me, the podcast where I talk you through cleaning your house. I had a dream last night that someone was let in through my bedroom patio door and ushered into my master bathroom. I had seen it on a security camera and was trying to picture whether or not my bathroom was clean enough for guests. So I took that as a sign to have you clean your bathroom in this episode. A lot of you are listening while cleaning your kitchen, so we're going to do that too. It's time to gear up for your cleaning session. Maybe you need to freshen up for the day and get dressed into something that's comfortable yet presentable. Run a brush through your hair. Wipe the old makeup off from under your eyes, or wash your face and put on a full face of makeup, whatever it takes for you to feel ready for the day. Now's the time to do that. And of course, some of you might want to light a candle, start a wax warmer, take out the trash to get your house smelling fresh. While you're doing one of those things that I just mentioned, I'll just let you know the theme of this episode, and it's change starts with you. A lot of times we make excuses that other people in our household are messing up the house, our spouse, our kids, and I get it. That definitely can be an obstacle. But in this episode, I'm going to encourage you to stop waiting for your spouse to change. Obviously, with kids, could be a discipline issue. And I'm real big on having chore lists for kids and consequences and rewards and all the things. But when it comes to other adults in your house, people change when they want to change. And they're also heavily influenced by those who they spend the most time with. So when you turn over a new leaf in your house, I know people aren't automatically going to do exactly what you do, but they are going to do better in a clean environment. If you don't believe me, just test it out. The first thing I want you to do is gather up dishes from around the house. Just make sure all your dishes are in the sink or next to the sink so that we can be as efficient as possible when cleaning your kitchen. The next thing I want you to do is make sure you have the proper tools. New day, new rag, folks. Get a clean dish rag. Make sure that you have other tools that you like to use handy. Maybe you like to use a sponge that's abrasive on one side, soft on the other. Maybe you like to use a scrub brush with a handle, or even one of those dishwashing wands where you can put dish soap in the handle. Gather up your favorite tools. And then the next step, of course, is to put away clean dishes. Okay, this could mean emptying your dishwasher. It could mean emptying your drying rack. It could mean clearing off a drying pad or a towel where you've laid out clean dishes. Let's get all of those items put away. You might be tempted to skip this step, but don't. You need to be able to quickly set things down after you wash them. And if you're like me, you're going to put some things in the dishwasher and you're going to hand wash other items. Or if you're completely overwhelmed today, you could always do 2 dishwasher loads. Okay. That's kind of an emergency measure. I'll talk about another emergency measure too. But the first thing I want you to do once you've gotten everything to the kitchen is get any difficult items soaking. That pot, that pan, that cookie sheet with burnt on food residue. Let's get some hot soapy water into those pans and get them soaking while we move on to washing the easier stuff. While you're getting those more difficult items soaking, and of course, as always, if you're caught up on dishes, just be cleaning the surfaces in your kitchen. But for a lot of you, you're getting those difficult items soaking. While you're doing that, I just wanted to talk about something that you might be able to do here in a few minutes, and that's letting a sink load soak with a dishwasher pod in the dishwater. This is a shortcut that I do from time to time, and then you come back an hour later and you don't have to scrub. I haven't done this in a while, but it's just one of those emergency techniques when you're short on time and you need to go do something else for a while and then come back to the dishes. I'm talking about those days where you're facing a disaster. Okay. You know what that means if you've been listening to the show for a while. It's where not everything fits in the dishwasher or can be hand washed in just a couple sink loads. But once you've gotten those difficult items soaking, you might want to quickly straighten up your countertops. This gives you a quick win and could possibly improve the view from the front door. I'm really big on good first impressions. If someone else in my family walks in, I don't want to look like I haven't done anything when I have. So that's why I clean in an order of priority that starts with the view from the front door. This isn't a living room or front entrance episode, but if there's a glaring problem by your front entrance, you might want to take care of that. But as far as my kitchen, the kitchen island can be seen from the front door and one corner of the countertop. And there might be a part of your kitchen that can be seen from the front door. I like to get that part of the countertop cleared off quickly. Maybe there's empty food packaging there, or maybe people are just putting their backpacks and other miscellaneous items on the countertop. Let's get that cleared off for a streamlined first impression when you look into the kitchen. But once you've done that little bit of straightening, it's time to either load your dishwasher or start that first sink load. And for me, starting the first sink load would be pre-rinsing the silverware, the bowls, maybe the cups if it's not too much stuff. I don't like to overload the sink, especially with breakable items. With fragile glasses and mugs, I will often get those soaking, kind of like with the pots and pans. You know, when you get that ring of coffee or chocolate or milk in the bottom of a glass or mug, a little bit of dish soap and some hot water in the cup can go a long way. So I'll get those soaking while I get the bowls, plates, and silverware into the sink if I'm hand washing. Okay, I realize some of you are loading a dishwasher, some of you are hand washing that small stuff. So just be working on dishes, whatever that means for you. But if you do need to do an additional sink load and it's time for us to move on to the bathroom a little later in the episode, you can always put the remaining items in the sink with hot water, a little bit of liquid dish soap, and a dishwasher pod for a super soak that is going to get the stuff virtually clean already without any scrubbing. And then you can come back and rinse those items off like an hour later. And in that situation, I would recommend setting a timer because this episode is not going to be an hour long, setting a timer to get back to it. So just be plugging away on the dishes, whatever that means for you, even if you need to leave a load to soak and then set a timer. I talked about this in the last episode, but the important thing when leaving things to soak is that you're coming back to them later in the day. You don't want to, you don't want to leave them overnight. You don't want to always have something soaking where you're just in a perpetual cycle. You want to get down to dish zero before you go to bed every night, or at least on most nights. Obviously, nobody's perfect and life happens, and sometimes there are things that are more important than getting the dishes done before bed, but I want that to be the norm for you. And if it's not, that's okay. You've come to the right place. I'm going to help you establish those habits. While you're working on dishes, I'm going to give you a little marriage tip. I already touched on the fact that you shouldn't wait for your spouse to change before turning over a new leaf as far as your housekeeping. And I'll also add to that, you don't change someone's behavior by nagging them, especially in this delicate balance called marriage. What I would recommend, and Don't get me wrong, my husband is probably a better housekeeper than I am. So I'm not talking about him. That's the disclaimer. But I know a lot of you have messy husbands. So that's who I'm talking to right now. And obviously, this works in other areas besides just cleaning. So I do know what I'm talking about here. You want to reinforce positive behavior. Okay. Your spouse is not your child. You don't give them consequences. You don't nag. But what you do is you reinforce positive behavior. And I feel like this is especially true with most men when they've done something that they view as extra or out of the norm for them. They are expecting affirmation for that. And I realize you might not be getting positive affirmations when you clean. And sure, your spouse should walk in and tell you the house looks nice, but he might not. But then when he does something like does the dishes, he's expecting you to notice it and comment on it. Okay, people are self-centered. It's human nature. I'm not saying it's right or fair that he's expecting you to react when he cleans and then when you clean, it's just treated as the default or something. I'm not condoning that, but we're talking about goal-oriented behavior. If your goal is for him to do more without putting a strain on your relationship, commenting on what he does is going to help. And let's face it, people are heavily influenced by those who they spend time with. So if you're commenting, hey, the house looks nice. Oh, you did dishes. Thank you. He's more likely to say those same things to you. Like I said, change starts with you. And before you come at me, would you want to be nagged or criticized or told that you're not doing something right? Or would you want someone to comment on your efforts when you do the thing they want you to do? Do you like it when your spouse walks in and says, hey, the house looks nice. Wow, you've been working hard. And maybe that doesn't happen very often, but those times when he does something, if you comment on it, then he's more likely to do the same for you. Or at the very least, he's going to want to clean more to get those words of affirmation. Obviously, I'm making generalizations here, and this is not necessarily going to work for you exactly how I think it is. But with this podcast, chew up the meat, spit out the bones. I throw things out because some of it might resonate, some of it might help you. By the way, if you do happen to be listening on Spotify, I've discovered a new feature on there where I can create polls. So when you click on the episode, take the poll. It only takes a second to answer one multiple choice question. So I'll probably address this topic in a poll. Some of you like these tidbits on marriage and some don't. I get that. Don't give me a bad review, but you can respond in a Spotify poll or you can email me at cleanwithmepodcast@gmail.com. And sometimes I do get reviews where they say stick to cleaning this and that, but keeping your house clean is a family affair. And if you have other people in your household, that does come into play. And some people do want help with navigating these situations. And I'm not saying that there's not a time or place to say, I would love it if I could get a little bit of help with the dishes. And don't get me wrong, I'm not saying not to talk about the division of labor and who does what. These conversations do need to happen, but I've read a lot of marriage books and it's more effective to express something as a desire. Like, I would just love it if I could come home once to a clean kitchen, something like that, rather than nagging or criticizing. Use those I statements. And as far as kids, it's always good to have them clean before moving on to other activities. And kids prefer a chore list rather than you just asking them to do things on a whim. Of course, as the parent, you can do that. Hey, I need you to clean this up while I'm gone. With teenagers especially, I've got to go take care of something. I need you to clean up the living room, or I need you to do these few dishes I didn't get to. Yeah, that's a thing. But I've found that my kids appreciate it much more if I just say, check the chore list and do your chores while I'm gone. They tend to like that better because I've put a lot of thought into the chore list, and it's more fair than these orders that I might just bark out. It's divided up in a certain way already. I put a lot of thought into it once. I mean, once every few months because I change it up often. But it's easier because it's like it's the list telling them what to do instead of me, and they tend to like that better. Maybe that would work with a spouse, but I don't put my husband on the chore list. That's just not the dynamic in our relationship, but it might be in yours. Your husband might be like, if you could just put what you want on this chore list, it'd be easier to make you happy. I can't read your mind. Sometimes people just want to know what you expect. So don't get me wrong. I'm not saying that your husband can't be on the chore list after you've had this conversation about a division of labor. I'm also not saying that he has to help you with any particular chores because everyone has different situations as far as who works more, who likes doing what, who's good at what. But in general, men tend to like things like vacuuming, sweeping, and mopping more than things like doing dishes and whatnot. So if your spouse is dirtying up the kitchen, he might prefer kind of a system where he pre-rinses his dish and places it into the dishwasher rather than dishes piling up and then you're asking him to do the dreaded task of washing the dishes. That's how I do it with my kids anyway. And my husband tends to just instinctively clean up after himself in the kitchen, but I know not all husbands do. A lot of you are still plugging away at those dishes, but of course, for those of you who are ahead of the game and did not have any kind of pile up today, you may want to start wiping down your kitchen surfaces from the top down. Or if you're in a state of overwhelm, this might be just a day where you're going to give your countertops and stovetop a swipe. You're going to wipe down your table and chairs if they're sticky. You're going to clean out your sink once the dishes are done. And then after you've cleaned your bathroom, sweep the kitchen and bathroom floor and then mop both floors in one fell swoop. But I'm going to give you just a few more minutes in the kitchen, whether that's to finish the dishes and give the countertops a swipe or to do more detailing of surfaces if your dishes are done at this point. And then we're going to head to a bathroom. So sometimes getting your kids and husband to do more around the house can mean just subtle things like showing appreciation and expressing desires. I wish I could wake up to a clean kitchen. I wish I could come home to a clean kitchen, things like that. But other times it involves sitting down and having the conversation and formally dividing up the labor. You know, who does nobody in the family like doing dishes? Or do you like doing dishes, but you hate sweeping and mopping? I mean, the best way to divide labor is for everyone to do what they like. But sometimes there are a few tasks that nobody likes to do, and that's where it can get a little bit tricky. Somebody's got to do it. But I do think a spreadsheet with columns for different days and people listing what's expected of them on those days can work wonders. That's how I do it with my 3 teenagers. My husband and I work as a team. Basically, we both do the remaining items that are not on the kids' spreadsheet. And I have put myself on the spreadsheet in the past, but I'm no longer doing that because I don't think it's the kids' place to hold me to something like, hey, mom was supposed to clean the kitchen today or whatever, and she asked us to do it. So, yeah, I'm going to keep myself off of that list going forward. But in reality, we don't usually have the kids cleaning the kitchen. In my opinion, the important thing is that by the time your kids are older teenagers, they have done all the things. Like they know how to do dishes, they know how to clean the kitchen, they know how to sweep and mop, they know how to deep clean a bathroom, etc., etc. But that doesn't mean that that needs to be their chore on an ongoing basis. We just have a rule that when kids dirty a dish, and it's not the official dinner that my husband or I cooked, that they wash that dish from start to finish. Basically, they help keep the kitchen clean, but either my husband or myself washes the lion's share of the dishes and does most of the kitchen cleaning tasks. But they've all had times where cleaning the kitchen and doing dishes was on their chore list, so they've learned to do it. Making a chore list for kids is the easy part, but the division of labor between spouses can be tricky due to a lot of things, cultural norms, the family that they grew up in. I think one of the reasons why my husband is so good about cooking and cleaning, he grew up with all brothers. So there wasn't some kind of a gender role issue where these chores were getting assigned to the girls or something. And my sons see a dad who cooks and cleans. Everyone should clean up after themselves and be willing to take on some of the responsibilities around the house. And it can vary. Maybe you just want your husband to pick up after himself and take out the trash, or maybe you're both working a lot and you need a lot more from him. But remember that change starts with you. Reinforcing positive behavior in other adults is far more effective than griping or punishing. Okay, hopefully I've given you enough time in the kitchen and you've got it done other than the floors. As always, use this episode how you want. Some people are just doing general housework while they listen, and some people are trying to clean along. But I always gear the show towards someone who is cleaning along in case you are, and I feel like a lot of you are. That's a question for a future poll on Facebook, Spotify, or Patreon. I plan on doing more polls for you because I like to hear from you. Let's head to the bathroom. And before you even start that pre-clean that needs to happen, where you remove all clutter, I want you to get your toilet bowl cleaner into the toilet bowl. Whatever product you use to clean the inside of your toilet bowl, get that in there. Grab your toilet scrubbing brush and scrub the bowl, but then let that product sit. Maybe you even want to reapply more product after you've given the toilet bowl a swish, but you're going to let that toilet bowl cleaner do its work while you clean the rest of the bathroom. And it only takes a minute to get that toilet bowl soaking, but then it's time for that pre-clean. You might have bath mats or rugs on the floor that need to be taken to your laundry room. You might have random items. Your family might be a work in progress. They might be dropping towels or clothes on the floor. You might have even been the one to drop that stuff. So you might have to pick some stuff up off of the floor. Definitely have a policy of whichever bathroom is your guest bathroom, that nobody should be leaving anything on the floor. And let's face it, nobody should be leaving anything on any bathroom floor. But if you're gradually trying to improve your household habits, start by keeping that guest bathroom perpetually clean. And I'm not saying you have a dedicated guest bathroom, but for me, I'm talking about the hall bathroom. That's also my kids' bathroom. I don't really care if my husband drops something in the master bathroom floor, but it makes me crazy when kids are leaving shoes and clothes in that hall bathroom, which is also our guest bathroom. Maybe you need to clear off your bathroom countertop. If this is your master bathroom, you're more likely to have some things spread out. Curling irons, flat irons, crimping irons, waving irons, all the things. You need a place for those, and you're probably not using all of them every day. Our everyday items that I keep out in the master bathroom are a blow drying brush. My teenage daughter likes to come in my bathroom and use a blow drying brush. I went through a phase where I was using it, but passed it on to her. I don't have any guilt when I buy things and get tired of them because I've got all these daughters that can take them on. But I don't use that very often, but I do use a wide curling iron just to kind of shape my bangs. Like, I'm not curling my bangs 80s style, but I'm particular about how they hang, so I use a really large curling iron for that. And so those two items are usually out. And then I have a basket underneath that has kind of a waving iron, a smaller barrel curling iron, and a couple flat irons. But when I'm cleaning the bathroom, they all get put into that basket that's in the cupboard. It's like a miniature laundry basket. It looks like a laundry basket, but it's small. I put all those items away. So when I'm talking about clearing off your vanity, I'm talking about things that don't belong there, but also things that do, things that you do keep there on a regular basis, like a soap dish, your toothbrush holders, your toothpaste, that little dish where you put your rings. Let's move all of that aside somewhere so that you can quickly clean the surfaces. I feel like one of the reasons that we procrastinate on cleaning the bathrooms sometimes is the pre-clean part. It's not really cleaning the surfaces, and it's like that in every room of the house for me. Cleaning the surfaces is no big deal, but what can make me feel overwhelmed is if I let an area get cluttered. And you may be different. You may dread cleaning the toilet. But if you've been listening to this show for a while, you know my solution for people who have an aversion to cleaning the toilet. Get some gloves. Okay, they could be disposable gloves or reusable, whatever you're more comfortable with. And, get one of your old COVID masks to cover your nose and mouth, or tie a bandana around your face if you don't like getting up and close and personal with the toilet with your face exposed. That can kind of go a long way. And obviously this pre-soak of the toilet bowl can also go a long way in sanitizing that gross part of your toilet. Not that the rest of it isn't gross. I also really like cleaning the exterior parts of my toilet with disinfecting wipes, but I know that can be expensive. You can also use a separate cleaning product and paper towels to do that same thing for cheap. And of course, some of you are using reusable rags. I just can't fathom that. I like to use disposable stuff when cleaning the toilet. But we're going to get back to the toilet later. Clear off your vanity, pick up everything off of your bathroom floor, and then it's time to scrub the countertop part, scrub out the sinks, using your favorite bathroom cleaning products or just whatever you happen to have on hand. And then you're going to end with the bathroom faucets and the mirror. Something that I'm super excited about is the way I'm cleaning my larger mirror in the master bathroom lately. In my kids' bathroom, and it's on their chore list to clean that bathroom, so it doesn't usually fall to me. But when I'm cleaning that bathroom, cleaning the mirror is not a big deal. I'm just spraying some glass cleaner and then quickly wiping it with a microfiber wipe or microfiber cloth. There's not a lot of lighting in that bathroom. I mean, there are lights, but there's no natural light coming in. So even if someone does a less than perfect job cleaning the mirror, you're not going to see those streaks or anything because there's not a window with natural light coming in. However, in my master bathroom, there's a huge mirror, and then there's a window above the tub that lets a lot of natural light in. So you'll see those streaks if it's not done perfectly. And I'm not being a perfectionist here. It looks awful if the mirror is not cleaned right. And I also can't even reach the entire mirror. What I've been doing is I take the Swiffer mop from my kitchen, and instead of attaching the pre-moistened mop pad, I attach a clean, dry microfiber cloth to it. But you could also strap that microfiber cloth to any type of mop with rubber bands or something if you wanted to. But it works well with the Swiffer type thing that's designed to just wrap a pad around, and then you kind of push it in with your fingers on the back. Some of you know what I'm talking about. But I basically spray that huge mirror with glass cleaner. I don't have to be able to reach the top to do that. And then I'm using this mop with the microfiber cloth attached, and I just literally mop the mirror. It's so effective. It's so quick. You don't know how happy I was to discover that. I posted a video of how that works and on my TikTok, and also kind of a slideshow thing of it on my Instagram. My TikTok is Clean With Me Pod, and my Instagram is Ronnie S. If you're already using those apps, I'm not asking you to start using social media apps you're not already on, but I throw it out there because some of you are on those apps. And of course, my Facebook page is Clean With Me Podcast. And I think I even did a reel about mopping the mirror. So if you're following me on any form of social media, you're going to get the visual on some of the things I talk about. And I plan to post more visual content in the near future. So once you've cleaned your countertop, your sink, your faucets, and your mirror, of course, pause the episode if you need more time. I don't know how messy your bathroom was or how big it is. It's time to clean the exterior parts of the toilet and then scrub that bowl one last time. And if there's still some type of a water line, like if you have extremely hard water, there could still be some discoloration in your toilet after you scrub the bowl. You can use a pumice stone to get rid of that line, and no, it doesn't harm the finish. It's designed for that. It was kind of funny when I was buying that pumice stone on a handle in my grocery store. The grocery checker was like, does this work, or does this damage the inside of the bowl? I've been thinking about buying one of these, but I'm afraid to use it. And in my mind, I was thinking, how did you know I'm a cleaning podcaster? But of course, I told her, it does work. And it says right on the package that it won't damage the porcelain or whatever. And usually getting in there with a disinfecting wipe is good enough. But of course, you can remove your toilet bowl lid for effective cleaning around the hinges and stuff. And when you're cleaning your toilet and you get down to where you're cleaning the exterior part of the bowl, the base of it, make sure you're scrubbing the floor around it. The best time to clean your floor and baseboards that are right by the bottom of your toilet is when you're down there cleaning the toilet. Because let's face it, your mop is not going to get in there as good as you're going to get with your bare hands while you're down there, or gloved hands, if that's what you're using. And on this show, I don't talk a lot about scrubbing the shower and the bathtub because I encourage you to kind of combine that with maybe your leisurely shower or bath on the weekend. However, when I'm deep cleaning my master bathroom, I do deep clean the shower doors. If you have clear glass shower doors, they're going to take a little bit of extra care, especially if you have hard water. So when I'm in that bathroom cleaning, I like to spray the inside and outside of my glass shower doors. I'll get a glass cleaner that contains white vinegar, or I'll use a spray bottle with vinegar and water because that helps to get rid of those hard water stains. And sometimes I'll scrub with something abrasive, a little scrubby pad, and then I'll spray it again and then wipe it with something soft like a microfiber cloth or even a bathroom squeegee. We have a rule that when someone uses our shower, they have to wipe down the inside of it with a squeegee. You could also use a microfiber cloth for that, or you can do both. But we can tell when somebody takes a shower and doesn't use the squeegee. Often when we're gone, one of the kids will decide to use our shower and not use the squeegee, but they've gotten better about it. But once in a while, somebody doesn't. One time my husband was like, somebody took a shower in here and didn't use the squeegee. And I'm like, well, it wasn't me because I'm the one who made that rule. By the way, he doesn't like it that I make a lot of rules that apply to him. So always tread lightly with your significant other. Since you're going to scrub your shower or bathtub in another step, I like to separate that from the bathroom cleaning process. And I think one of the reasons that I do that is because it does help you avoid procrastination on cleaning your toilet, vanity, and sink, which are the dirtier parts of your bathroom and the floor. You're not going to procrastinate as much when you separate the task of scrubbing your tub or shower floor or shower walls. That's going to be done at a different time, so you're not going to feel overwhelmed with this big bathroom cleaning project. I do have some episodes where I have you do that, but I recommend just keeping some cleaning products in your shower or tub. and cleaning as you're getting in or getting out. So on that note, you're going to end with your bathroom floor. You're going to sweep and mop your bathroom floor if it's a big bathroom. If it's a smaller bathroom, you might be able to kind of combine that process. That's my favorite thing when I'm cleaning my kids' bathroom now and then. I'll be honest, I'm usually cleaning that bathroom when I'm expecting guests because they do a good enough job on a weekly basis. But when I'm expecting company, I want that guest bathroom detailed by an adult or at least by my 18-year-old son who has more experience than the younger ones at detailing a bathroom. But I will often just grab a pre-moistened Swiffer mop pad. I get the generic ones or the Swiffer, doesn't matter. Just pick your favorite scent because that's really effective on my shiny bathroom tile. And I do it in the same way. I like to describe it as when you're wiping off the countertop after you've made toast and there are some toast crumbs that you don't want to brush onto the floor. You're kind of grabbing them up in that damp cloth while you're wiping down the countertop. That's kind of the technique I use in a tiny bathroom when I'm combining the step of sweeping and mopping and doing it with a cloth, a damp cloth or pre-moistened pad. In a pinch, I've been known to clean that floor with Windex and paper towels, but I really like using those pre-moistened mop pads. And I'll even go a step further and wipe the bathroom baseboards with those. By the way, your bonus task in the bathroom, should you choose to accept it before you mop your way out of the bathroom, is to wipe down your switch plates, doorknobs, the part of the door that people touch a lot, outlet covers with a disinfecting wipe or pre-moistened mop pad or whatever else, a rag, whatever you use. While you're finishing up in the bathroom, I just wanted to say special thanks to my financial supporters who support the show either on Apple Podcasts, Patreon, which you can do straight from Spotify if you have a Patreon account, or Breaker Supporters Club, which there's going to be a link in the episode description for that. And if you happen to be watching on YouTube, only a few of you are doing that, but I appreciate you. There'll be a link to cleanwithmepodcast.com. And when you go there, you'll find links to the different ways to support the show and, of course, gain access to the long bonus episodes. But even just listening to this show helps. So even if you're not able to pay for bonus content or you don't want to, I understand. Just please click follow or the plus sign on whichever platform you're listening on. By the way, in Monday's episode, we're going to be doing dishes and then cleaning your bedroom. So don't miss that.